Are Imperial Captains any good in patch 5.0? This is one I wanted to hold off on because I strongly suspected there would be at least a glow-up, and I was right, as I often am. I mean, this hero's been around since the dawn of Total War Warhammer, as in 1. So how is it now? Better, that's for sure. Recruited for a supposed paper cost of 1,000 gold, it's more like 350 in actual campaign, but 250 upkeep is derived from that figure. On Ultra, you get a hero with 3,688 health base, armor is 85 with a bronze quality shield blocking 35% of small arms missiles from a frontal arc. Missile resistance is the standard 15%. Note that generals of the Empire have silver grade shields now, which makes them much more distinct. Leadership is 65, speed 34, melee attack starts at 50 with an attack interval of a standard 4. Splash target size is medium, and max targets actually damaged by splash is 8, so they tend to weaken and or kill very decent quantities of normal infantry. Melee defense starts at 40, with weapon strength 375 divided between 250 base and 125 armor piercing. This 2-to-1 ratio isn't strange or bad, it's just to say they have difficulty killing heavily armored targets, but are ideal for whomping on squishy mages. Charge bonus is 40, and mass is 600. On a Barded Warhorse, health shoots up to 4,176, of course becoming a large target. Armor goes up to 105, speed goes up to 78, charge speed 108, charge bonus 70, and mass 1500. As is the case in many such cases, everything else. On a Pegasus, health is 4,464, armor is 85, and by the way, they're still shielded. Speed becomes 105 flying if stuck on the ground, it's more like 80. Charge bonus 85, and the ability to wail on single small targets can be very questionable in a fleeing lord situation, but at mass 1300, you're giving up relatively little for flight, and not much in the Empire roster flies. For the skills, the embedded army trait is Training, which grants 25% extra experience for units in the army when gained. Additional pips can add up to 30% extra for a total of 55%. Now, the old system was 25 points based that went up with pips, and yeah, when you need 1100 points to reach the next rank, no wonder people consider the old system near useless. Though the Inspiring Presence, granting 75 per turn, they finally fixed Beastmen to bring them in line too, it's not nothing, okay? But a fat percentile increase is a much bigger deal. Here's the chart showing the XP requirements to rank up as a unit, not a character. You've asked for this, but it makes more sense to talk about it for training heroes. Spread control gives positive control in friendly territory, negative in enemy territory. Enemy, not neutral. So 3 pips raise the base value, and I think that's +1, by an additional 3. The agent actions are Assault Units, Wound, and Assault Garrison. I feel like they changed the visual order. Anyway, good stuff and all, but you need money to do this stuff. Specialist reduces the cost of agent actions. For the yellow line, I'm not going to cover any of this. This is literally the baseline for all melee lords and heroes from the first game version onward, so it's all like Karl Franz. The bonuses are self-explanatory, and Foe Seeker and Deadly Onslaught are extremely standard. No, I want to focus on what's changed. Mark of Hysh gives spell resistance 10, and Sigmar's Ward gives the traditional 10% bonus missile resistance. Basic but good. Now, available at rank 6, Hold the Line is the standard but rock-solid Lord passive that grants +4 leadership and +5 melee defense in a 35-meter radius, and that makes them good at anchoring your troops. At rank 10, you can select, without negative consequence, Sparring Practice, which grants the captain melee attack +3, melee defense +3, and a sweet +15 versus infantry, relevant whether on a mount or not. Guardian adds +15 armor and grants the Guardian trait, just like the Dark Elf Masters, giving 15% physical resistance to friendly lords and heroes in a 35-meter radius, and all you need to be able to get this is to have rank 11 and have taken Sparring Practice. Finally, Killing Blow grants an augment ability, duration 30 seconds, cooldown 90 seconds, and the captain gets 50% more base damage in melee, 50% more base melee damage, and 50% more armor-piercing melee damage. That's new, and more to the point, nothing prevents you from double-dipping with Deadly Onslaught at the same time. Also, nothing prevents you from alternating, or using Deadly Onslaught for its real purpose, plus 60% charge bonus to make the damage connect on the charge and just thereafter. The final options requiring rank 16 to unlock are mutually exclusive, but simple. Admired Man-at-Arms reduces melee cavalry upkeep by 5%, grants plus 5% speed for all cavalry units, grants plus 5% charge bonus for all cavalry units in the hero's army. Admired Infantryman saves 5% from upkeep for melee infantry, and grants melee attack plus 3 and melee defense plus 3 for all infantry in the hero's army. Point being, the Empire Captain now has what he needed most desperately, an identity. Now he's the melee troops buffer, the bodyguard for lords and heroes, the goon in the goon squad with damage output spikes and consistent anti-infantry credibility. As for how you use the Empire Captain, that's a little tougher because even with these changes, well, first of all, traits vary. Second of all, items vary dramatically. But what the Empire Captain is not. He's not a spellcaster, he's not ranged, dictates a lot. He'll help and support and encourage. He's not an anti-armor specialist at all, but he's not useless. And as they get more experienced, you'd be surprised how well they hold up against a lot of stuff. Basically, in such roles, they buy time for your army to get other stuff done. They're also very decent anti-characters in certain situations. Even without mounts, in front of your missile units to tank a bit, or in the middle of a free-for-all melee to stiffen spines with shouted words. With a barded warhorse, a captain can really clog up the works and tie up a cavalry unit while taking relatively little damage from it, as your side counters. On a Pegasus, the captain is one of your precious few ways to engage bats in the air and other annoying missile unit harassers, and gives you the ability to hunt certain enemy characters effectively. In the long run, they become able to help flying lords in aerial fights before picking and choosing fights on the ground to make an impact. That's how it works. They have their limits, but they're flexible, can fill different roles, and plug different gaps, and items can make them pretty strong. They really are the quintessential Empire hero unit. Alone, they cannot turn the tide, but they can bend it left or right a little, and make the whole of your army a stronger force. Oh, and a specialized assault unit captain running around causing casualties before a battle can be a big help too. You have to be in a good financial position to have the extra captains, but is by no means a weak option. Take care, and have fun yelling at the state troops to hold the line.